All right, let's get ourselves started for this evening and work our way through our agenda, right? Just a couple housekeeping rules to kind of keep in mind as we work our way through tonight. You can see and hear us, right? But we can't see or hear you, just like previous webinars that we've had. So if you do have any questions, please make sure you throw those into the Q&A feature to ask any questions that you might have. We'll try and keep the chat feature to just internal for us that are presenting, right? Use the Q&A feature for any direct questions that you might have. This session is being recorded, so it will be available on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Resica Falls, which will be there for further viewing probably by the end of this week. Meeting the team again. I'm your camp director, Steve Mock. We're going to have our assistant camp director, Jerry Reed, our program director, Jacob Huff, our assistant program director, Andy Connell, and then our director of outdoor adventures, who's going to be working through some questions. That's, of course, Mr. John Bickle. He'll be helping us out with the Q&A feature. So what we're kind of looking to hit upon tonight with this virtual update is to go over some final pre-camp reminders, some certain features and things like that to kind of make sure everyone's on the same page about administratively and logistically with Jerry. I'll talk about a couple key points about things that you need to know before you arrive in camp on your Sunday arrival. And then Jacob and Andy are going to tag team some information regarding our afternoon adventures, kind of do another deep dive into what that's going to entail, right? And then talk a little bit about our Webelos program that we've got coming up. So without any further ado, I'm going to bounce it over to Jerry Reed to talk about some final pre-camp reminders. Jerry, you're muted.
Yeah, that's better. Good evening, all. I hope you're having a good time and can't wait to get to Resica Falls. So the unit payments, all individual payments were due for each scout on May 15th there. And hopefully that's happened and you're getting all the merit badges that you guys need. All right, so try to make all that happen before you come to camp. Pre-camp surveys are due by June 1st, that is tomorrow. For those that need anything specific, we do have a lot of requests for, CPAP machines, for the battery chargers and things like that. We got plenty of them at camp. And so things like that, campsites will be assigned here in 2 weeks. As well as arrival times. So that's on our agenda for the next 2 weeks to get all that done. And so if you didn't do the pre-camp survey, resicafalls.org/documents. And get that in if you need anything specific, okay? Arrival and campsites are going to be assigned by June 10th. And hopefully everybody's going to love their new campsites. A couple of new platforms and tents in, where did we do? We did Northwind, Bear Paw, and Deer Run. So all new platforms and tents in those 3 sites this summer. Hopefully you get one of those nice new tents. Don't forget dietary restrictions on our website. You can fill out the dietitian's form for vegetarians and the like. And we'll get that into the cooks as soon as possible. All right. Troop themed shirts, the weeks 1 through 3 has been closed as of Friday. We have placed the order and things are rolling, and we'll have them as you arrive at camp for the first 3 weeks. Fantastic. Weeks 4 through 7 are due June 13th. So if you have not gotten your shirt order in, please order by troop. Don't order by individuals. There's a lot of individual shirts being ordered, and you're not putting the troop numbers and towns on the back of the shirts on the form. So we don't know what you guys want on the back of the shirts. So if you can order them by troop, that would be a big help. And also, if you order one shirt individually, you're going to pay $16 for the shirt, and you're going to get a $15 setup charge. So don't order shirts individually, and kind of get that straightened out. So don't forget to put your troop number and town which you want on the back of your shirts for that. Other than that, we're ready to roll. We just put all the tents out today, and all 300 tents went out. They're not up yet, so that was accomplished today here at Resica. Things are cooking. We can't wait to see you. And if you need anything, put it in the pre-camp form, okay? Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Jerry. Someone had a question about their balance that might be remaining. There was a little bit of an issue with fees being added for badges and things like that. That was a clerical issue in Black Pug that should have been removed, and that should not be on your unit's balance at this time. If that's still the case and that's showing up, you can reach out to Tracy Launders or Kim Trainer at the council office, and they can kind of help guide through that process, because that fee should not be showing up. That was an initial error in Black Pug that we believed to be resolved, but it still might be showing up on a maybe a bit of an individual basis. So you can talk to Kim or Tracy at the council office, and hopefully they can get that resolved for you. Let's see what else we got here. Someone had a question about the dietary restriction form. It's a simple Google form. And once you've submitted it, it's been submitted. Scott, if you reach out after the fact, I can look in and see who you've submitted a form for your troop, so we can get that taken care of, so you don't duplicate some efforts there. If you already paid the activities fee, it should then be showing up as a credit on your account. And if that's not the case, you can also work with Tracy and Kim on getting that issue resolved as well.
I'll hop in here, Steve, on the credit part.
Yep.
We are happy to work on credits also, as the summer shakes out. If there's a either an additional charge that ends up being needed because a scout ends up coming onto your roster, or another program fee is needed, that would take care of that credit, or we could end up working on either a balance at the end of the summer to transfer to next summer, or a trading post coupon. There are a couple of different ways to use that balance, if there is a balance showing because of program fees paid. So we'll have you hang out with a balance for now, but in most cases, like Steve said, those program fees were removed today. Once we, thanks to those who reached out, we were able to work on through a lot of those issues today.
Okay. Another question about activities fees, right? The activity fee was not meant to be there. That was an issue that was put into Black Pug, that it should not be there. So individual scouts, when they go to participate in their various merit badges, if there's a fee associated with it, they will purchase that kit or those products that they will need at the trading post. If it is something like ATV and there's a fee associated with that, as well as Red Cross Lifeguard, they can pay that in the camp office and show their instructor the receipt for those things. But those activities fees should not be in Black Pug, and can be handled through the camp office, or if there's a product involved, the trading post. right? And then you can pay those as a troop with picking up kits and stuff. You can set up a troop account at the trading post, and kind of leaders can charge those things to it if they want to have the scouts just handle their kits and things like that. That can be set up once you arrive in camp. All the tents are 2-man tents in the campsites. Generally speaking, with odd numbers and things like that, we still try and assign two people per tent for scouts and leaders, and then odd numbers kind of give you one person in a tent kind of thing. And let's see what else. Question about medical forms. Will physical forms from the family doctor be accepted as an attachment to the physical form? So the physical has to be conducted on the BSA medical form. The BSA annual health medical record is where that needs to be attached, right? So if there's a physical that occurred on that record and it's different than the record that you're turning in, that's fine. But the physical has to be on the BSA annual health and medical record that the BSA puts out. John, there's a question about insurance for out of council units.
So we do not require an insurance certificate for out of council units at this time.
All right. So we are there with that. Somebody asked a question about the activity fee. Again, the activities fees that Black Pug added are not supposed to be there. So those fees are, as John ran through, going to come back to you if you've paid them in various forms. And those fees for things like leatherwork merit badge are actually the cost of what items should be in the trading post, right? It's an approximate cost of what the kit that a scout would need to purchase for leatherwork merit badge could be in the trading post, right? In reality, they might spend less than that. They might spend a little more than that. It was just a ballpark figure that should not have been included in Black Pug and should not have been added to your bill. So that's going to be resolved on the flip side.
And real quick, just to jump in, I mean, that all literally
John,
today. So if you have not been in since, have seen that reflected yet on your bill. So if
John, you're dropping out.
you go back in and you had paid for those program balance, you do log back in and you see that credit, then we can handle that in the future as you get through summer camp here. But at least for now, you know, check and just confirm, because that's literally, you know, kind of, I'll call it breaking news, you know, for lack of a better term, from today after the holiday weekend here.
John, you cut out there quite a bit.
Oh, fun. Okay, sorry. I don't know where I left off, so I will just say it all over again. So the whole thing with the program fees still being in reflected, I guess, is the kind of probably the best way to phrase it. That's all very new as of about noon today. So that change, we were able to work with Black Pug today and make that change happen again at some point around lunchtime. So if you've been in your Black Pug account since then and you see that there's a credit, or you see that there wasn't a credit applied and you feel like there should have been, work with Tracy and Kim on that. But if you're talking about something, you know, over the weekend that you had seen, then that may be why you had not seen that yet, because it's literally, you know, we had a couple of folks reach out to us after we sent out the emails for the final payment reminders on Friday. It said, hey, it's showing program fees. Does that really need to be paid now? So that was what alerted us to the fact that there was an issue in the system. So that is, literally breaking news that we were working through today. And we were able to resolve that. So again, we may have missed a couple. So if that is the case, please reach out to Tracy and Kim, and they'll be able to help get that off of your record. If it is still reflecting as needing to be paid, if it is reflecting as a credit balance, then we'll work with you throughout the summer as your unit final fees come in.
Okay. Thanks, John, for reiterating that for us. We're going to move on to our next little topic here. If there's some questions that people might have related to some of this registration stuff, continue to put them in the chat. Programmatic questions and stuff, we're going to get to that as we work our way through the agenda this evening. So kind of hold on to any of those questions once Jacob and Andy run through their bit. So a couple little reminders, right? Make sure you're getting your scouts registered for all the morning programs. Whether that's the merit badges, Resica Rangers, ATV, things like that. Make sure you're registering them in Black Pug for those various programs that they want to participate in the morning before you arrive. Also start planning your unit's afternoon adventures. Jacob and Andy are going to talk about that and kind of dive in. But your unit should have an idea before you arrive to camp what you might be looking to do with the differently structured afternoon programs, right? The Afternoon Adventures Guide rolled out in the beginning of May, includes over 50 activities happening throughout the week in the afternoons. Lots of fun and exciting stuff so you guys can start planning and thinking about what you would like to do. Again, let's make sure that not only are we registering for our morning programs, but all the scouts and leaders that are coming with us to camp are registered in scouting. This is a kind of a new directive or a more firmly put in place directive for our from National, making sure that all scouts and all leaders are registered and that leaders are up to date with their youth protection training. It's something that we ask that you make sure you guys are taken care of before you arrive to camp, get any of that registration stuff taken care of, and to kind of help make sure that we are following this policy. We ask again that a official scouting roster from My.Scouting of your unit or your unit's rechartering is supplied so that we can see that they are in fact registered in scouting, and then that check can occur with our council and our camp staff. Any pre-camp swim tests that are happening, make sure they're going to swim test at resicafalls.org. Helps make for a smooth Sunday afternoon check-in when your unit has already gotten your swim test taken care of before you arrive. There's a form at resicafalls.org under the importance documents section of summer camp with what we ask you to complete for those that are doing the swim test ahead of time, and that what you provide to us as part of that initial pre-camp little program there, so that we can have a smoother Sunday without having to have the whole camp go through swim tests when you arrive on Sunday. When you arrive on Sunday, Jerry talked about check-in times and things like that. You're arriving at Resica Elementary School at that check-in time. A couple things that you need to make sure that you're bringing with you, right? 3 copies of your unit roster. 1 copy goes with your medicals. 1 copy of your unit roster is going to go with us in the camp office, along with that that BSA official My.Scouting roster. And then that 3rd copy of the roster is just for you to make sure that you know who's in camp and have an idea of contact information and things like that. Make sure all the medical forms for all scouts and leaders that are staying in camp at any point throughout the week are brought with you and are all filled out, ready to go. We talked about medical forms a little bit. because we are doing the med rechecks at the elementary school. So that one copy of the roster and those medical forms are going to go to the med recheck section. So we can go through that process at the elementary school. Any cowboy action or ATV release forms, let's make sure that we have that so we can get that all taken care of and collected at the elementary school. And then any outstanding payment that you might have, hopefully that doesn't happen, right? We get everything taken care of ahead of time, but if need be, we'll be able to handle those. If not at the elementary school, certainly within your first day or two in camp, so that we can get that money and business stuff out of the way and just enjoy everything that's going to be happening throughout the week stay in camp. Let's see what we got going on here. Jacob's typing out an answer about swim tests. Okay. Do we need medical forms for a parent who stays one night, right? If somebody is staying in camp, they need to be a registered scouter. They just can't be a parent, okay? And anyone that is staying in camp does need a medical form. If they're in camp for less than 72 hours, so that would be 3 days, okay? They just need parts A and B of the medical form completed. If they are in camp for more than 72 hours or plan on participating in any high adventure or aquatic related activities during that stay, even if that is less than 72 hours, they need to have part C completed, that physical portion, right? So people do need to have that medical form completed and submitted, okay? You only need one copy of the medical form, right? It's 3 copies of the roster, 1 copy of the medical forms. Just trying to save everyone some paper here. We don't need medical forms in triplicate, right? We just need 1 copy that we're going to turn in, which is the BSA medical form, as well as the drug administration record, which is also on the Resica Falls website. Swim test doesn't need to be done before arrival, or it needs to be done before arrival, but not within a certain window. Okay. Does COPE need a release form? So we are not offering an organized COPE program outside of Twilight COPE. If they are participating in Twilight COPE, they do need to have, they don't need to, I'm sorry, you do not need to have the COPE release form filled out, right? So we're not having an organized COPE program throughout the week, just Twilight COPE, and that does not need to be completed for the Twilight COPE program. Got an afternoon or High Five Adventure Club issue conflict here with the ages. It is going to be 13 and up to participate in the High Five Adventure Club. 13 and up for those afternoon High Five adventures. All right. Rangers program. That is going to be swimming and nature merit badges. Both badges are going to be earned as part of the nature program. I'm sorry, the Rangers program. They'll have the opportunity to work on both of those in addition to their Scout through first class requirements. Yeah, Joe, if you have any release forms for anyone that's leaving early, you can turn those in during check-in as well. All right. And again, with the registration, for adults, we're just kind of reiterating national policy here with what we're going to be having to be put in place this summer, with making sure that all scouts and all adults staying in camp are going to be registered. Okay. Looks like we got a couple program questions starting to bounce in, so people want to know about that. So let's pass it off to Jacob and Andy, and you guys can run through specifically the Afternoon Adventures program, but any other program stuff that might be coming up as well.
There we go. I'm muted. All right, there we go. I'm just typing out an answer here for somebody, but let me open this up. All right, so we're looking again at our afternoon adventures. We're going to talk about those a little bit. We have our 3 afternoon program blocks. Those are going to be after our lunch periods. And we're going to have adventures that are designed for buddy pairs, patrols, or entire units. I know that some people have emailed me. I know there's a question in the chat also that's asking, hey, how many people can you accommodate for certain activities? Can you really fit this many people through a rifle in a 45-minute period? I've personally ran Resica Rangers through an entire period in an afternoon before. That was a 45-minute period. So it can be done. Will your scouts enjoy it? That's something that you'll have to discuss with your scouts. And if they're like, hey, I want to shoot more than just one round or just more than one line worth, like 5 shots, then maybe break the unit up into a smaller group. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't do some things. I'm going to give a shout out to Troop 66 from Edison, New Jersey, who sent an email, and we've been kind of coordinating a little bit. And they said, hey, how many people can fit in? Could we do dragon boating? We have this many people. And I said, yes. So that's at the lake. We can fit this many people per dragon boat. So if you split the unit in half the unit can be in those 2 dragon boats, and they can race each other while the other 2 are maybe doing some open boating at the lake or fishing. And then after they are done racing, bring the other 2 in. You can kind of do a round robin bracket and race each other. And that would be really fun. So yes, that's a big troop that's coming up, but they can fit and they can do that. So if you have questions about, hey, my unit is this big, can we do certain things? Shoot an email to me. It's jacob.huff@resicafalls.org. I can answer those questions and help with anything pre-camp that you may have questions about. But definitely look and say, hey, this our patrol, or we have a patrol that might want to break away and do something different. Maybe work, they're new, they want to work on a patrol flag or something like that. That'd be a perfect opportunity for them to do something similar or something fun just as a patrol themselves. So again, have your unit work with your senior patrol leader, have your patrol leaders talk with your senior patrol leader about how they want to break those different adventures up. We have over 50 unique adventures offered. They're all over camp. So not only are they in every program area, but they're also in just camp itself with different hikes to different locations in camp, such as Beaver Meadows. We have different trails: orange trail, yellow trail, silver trail. They go all over our 4,200 square acres of property. If you want somebody to maybe take a hike with you to go over the flora and fauna, you can request a guide, and we can work with like ecology if there's something specific you are looking for. Maybe you started bird watching merit badge outside of camp and you maybe want to do a little bit of bird watching in camp. You can talk to ecology and have them maybe take an ecology member on one of those hikes with you to look at some of those birds and identify some. We have warblers on camp property. It's a Steve, help me out here. It's a up on the way to the lake.
The golden wing warbler, the deer enclosure,
Right.
The conservation areas,
Right. Yes.
reforestation
So
stuff.
yeah. So we have a lot of opportunity to see different parts of camp that are very seldom seen. We also have our swimming holes that can be used as well. Beyond just things like the troop shoots, we also have skill sessions where we're able to work on specific skills. If a unit or patrol wants to work on weaving baskets, you can talk with handicraft about that. And as a patrol or as a small unit, maybe work on something similar to there. If we also have blacksmithing as an exhibition or a demo that a unit could sign up for and watch that kind of stuff. Some of the other skill sessions that we could earn extra badges for are things such as Paul Bunyan Woodsman at Scoutcraft or stand-up paddleboard BSA at the lake. And then those troop trips. And beyond, again, in-camp troop trips, we also offer troop trips that we would do canoeing on the Delaware River. So if your unit says, hey, we want to go for maybe like a 2-hour canoe trip, or we want to go on an entire afternoon canoe trip, we can have those discussions and we can put you in at a different spot on the Delaware and have you canoe. That can go beyond just the afternoon as well. If it's something that you want to go into the early evening when it's still light out, you're going to miss dinner. We can work with your with the kitchen and do some food requisition. Maybe you can find a good spot to pull out of the river and eat dinner on the land there. So there's a lot of opportunities that we're offering that really having those open afternoons makes it really great to be able to do that. Somebody again in the chat themselves asked, they said that there aren't capacity limits published for any of the afternoon activities. If you have questions specifically about those, you can always email me. That's going to be a troop by troop or a unit by unit basis, depending on how big the unit is. If it's a really big unit, we can look at breaking that up into smaller portions to do some things such as the 3D printing or the zip lining, stuff like that. So there are some that entire units can do, and there are some that if it's a really big unit, we could break that up. But I don't want you to feel like we're not going to work with you. We will definitely work and see what we can do as far as making sure that you guys are having an incredible time. How do we plan ahead? So you're looking at the Afternoon Adventures Guide. It's available at resicafalls.org documents. That's going to list everything that's offered there that I've thought about. That doesn't mean that there's not other ones that are going to not be available. If you're saying, hey, we want to get some of the lacing at the trading post and we want to make some keychains to give to our parents as thank yous or to give to sponsors or something like that. If you have sponsors that are helping out, that's awesome too. I didn't even think about that, but you can talk to Handicraft and go purchase some or talk to me and we'll see what we can do. And we can have you guys learn how to do those at Handicraft. That's not even that's listed there, but it's something I just thought off the top of my head. If you're thinking of things off the top of your head and you're saying, we kind of want to work on this as a unit or as a patrol, send an email and I'm like, hey, that sounds awesome. The sky's the limit here. So talk with your scouts, have them work with your senior patrol leader, plan those out. If there is something that you're like, oh, we kind of want to do this, but it could get snagged up pretty early on Sunday, come up with a plan B, either another day or time to do the thing you really want to do, or another opportunity that is similar. Just in case something gets taken up, we can always work with you to try to find another time or day or another opportunity. So you'll kind of want to get some plan Bs in there just in case. In that guide, there's also a sample schedule. So I made up like unit 1, 2, 3 and unit 3, 2, 1 and kind of talked about how they might break up into patrols or buddy pairs or unit activities, things like that. What your SPLs will do once they come up with that schedule before camp is when they arrive, we're going to be meeting with those, both Andy, myself, and the area directors, and we're going to be scheduling those together. So similar to what, if those unit leaders that have been in camp before, remember what we do for our merit badge reconciliations is each area director will be there and the unit leaders would come and talk to them about any issues that they would have. We're going to do something similar where every area director is going to be there. They'll be notated where they're sitting. And those senior patrol leaders can go up and talk with them and say, here's what we want to book in your area, what time, what day. And we write them down. And once we kind of hit enough staff that they'd be taken up, then we kind of would close that for that particular period. And then we move on to the next. Another thing that I just wanted to reiterate here is that part of what we have in every area is that there are help sessions as well. So if you have somebody coming up with a partial, or somebody that went to the merit badge class and they were a little confused, or they might need some extra help with a skill such as weaving your basket or splices, they can come to those program area help sessions and get some assistance with those skills. Or if there was something that they tried to work on a previous year or outside of camp and they just didn't get it, we can work with those scouts as well to try to, get what we those skills down, or those particular merit badge requirements down, so that those scouts are able to kind of get what they need out of it. Let me see. I'll open up, see if there's any questions. Looking at the afternoon adventure guide, I don't see trip to Cool Dip as one of the choices, but I do see it on the example. How many scouts can we send to one session? I'm trying to think. Cool Dip is a little smaller than something like Fossil Rock would probably fit more people, but Cool Dip is fairly large. So I know we've sent a pretty good size unit there before. So let me see. If you send me an email, I'll be able to give you like exact numbers. And same thing for anybody else. If you think I kind of want to take one of the swimming hole or water trips, but I think I have a large unit, please just send me an email and I'll touch base with you and see what we can do there. SPL is only registering on Sunday night. How will we get immediate feedback from the patrols if they are not represented at the Sunday meeting? Those patrols hopefully will have scheduled with that senior patrol leader the adventures that they want to do. And if there are plan B or something that they're not able to get, we'll still try to work with them to get that. So if a patrol is like, hey, we want to make a flag, but everything is kind of already scheduled at that particular area, talk with me, the senior patrol leader. We'll try to work something out with getting them in at a different time. After noon signups are first come, first serve. So you might have your senior patrol leader really interested, like the whole entire unit is interested in a troop shoot. I would not have that unit senior patrol leader go and talk to ecology first or talk to handicraft first. I'd have them look and say, hey, we're most interested in ABC. And then I'd go to talk to area director ABC first, not DEF, if that makes sense. So yes, have them go and talk to those areas first. Now, if your unit is a unit that says, hey, we want to we know that this might get taken earlier on, why don't we hop over and talk to some of the other areas first? That might get you some top spots on your own by going and talking to some of those as well. So kind of discussing your strategy with that senior patrol leader would be something that they would do. But again, we talk about those aims and methods of scouting. This is a big one, youth leadership. And we want to make sure that we are empowering those youth leaders to make some of those decisions and say, yes, maybe we can't get the patrol in at this time to make their flag, but I can talk with that area and say, hey, could I maybe pull some of the resources for that? And we as a unit, some of the patrol leaders for patrols that are already established can maybe work with that patrol on that particular kind of thing as well. So we're empowering the unit's youth to really kind of make a lot of bigger decisions because it's really going to help your unit grow. And let's see. First come, first serve has worked before. It's kind of what we do for merit badges as well. That's how the Black Pug was set up. So if the cap was 15 and 20 people try to sign up, the first 15 that are signing up would be the first 15 that are in. So that is kind of how we're doing it. But again, just because that gets taken up doesn't mean we're not going to work with units to try our best to fit them in to get what they want. It might just move to a different day or something like that, but we'll do our best to accommodate as we can. All right. I didn't say the time for those afternoon adventures. I believe it would be, Steve, were we thinking kind of like directly after dinner?
Yeah, it's going to occur at the same time that the general leaders meeting that occurs after dinner on Sunday evening typically is.
Right.
A lot of the programmatic stuff, Jacob and Andy are now going to handle with the senior patrol leaders and the area directors for these afternoon adventures, right? While adults are kind of guiding, going through the administrative and logistical type stuff with Ranger Nick and I on Sunday evening. That'll be right after dinner on Sunday evening.
All right, very good. Scott Newman, I was sending you an answer to your question. I will send it out, but is there a big camp show skits this year? The staff will perform our big show on Sunday evening. Wednesdays, we have scouts perform campfires in their campsites. They can invite their favorite staff members to come out and watch the performances, things like that. So I'll finish typing that and send as well. Yeah, an adult leader can come with the SPL if they want to. Andy, I saw you were typing that in. That's fine. Again, we want to try to make sure there's 2 deep leadership, so don't have the SPL and the leader walking there alone, just as a heads up for that. But if you have like the assistant senior patrol leader and the senior patrol leader and split some of the adventures between the 2, and a leader wants to come along and watch and see how things are running, that they can do that. That'd be cool too. Possibility to have a place on the website to show capacities for afternoon adventures. I will do my best and see if I can get something put up. In the meantime, like I said, email would be a good way to do it for now until we get something squared away there. If I don't see any other questions, there will be some questions and answers towards the end. So if you think of something later on, you can always send it in the question and answer here. I'll try to answer it. If you wait until the end, there'll be a question and answer then as well. And don't be afraid to email me. I've been fielding a lot of emails. Like I said, shout out to those units that are already asking those important questions about your unit and the afternoon adventures. So I'm really excited to answer those, and hopefully we're able to, get those all squared away. All right. Very good. Because we can hop
Great.
over to the next part.
Great, thank you, Jacob. And now we're going to talk a little bit about Webelos.
All right. So as kind of seen before, we are having during week 7, you see at the bottom corner there, August 7th to August 13th, be a week where we are opening up some of the camp to Webelos. In addition to during that week, there'll also be the regular scouting activities. As you know, Webelos is the kind of next, they're the ones coming up in the scouting, so we really wanted to give them a chance to see what is up. So that way, they want to come back next year. So Webelos Week is developed for rising 4th and 5th graders, which would be both Webelos and Arrow of Light Scouts. They'll get to explore the reservation while completing adventures. For those not super familiar with Webelos programming, the closest I would kind of equate that to is merit badges. It's not an exact one-to-one equivalency, but if you're not super familiar with one, that's the closest connection. And it is designed to help introduce Cubs to the Scouts BSA camping experience. Adventures offered, we've got things like Art Explosion. They're going to be exploring all around handicrafts, having some fun there. Cast iron, doing some nice fire pit cooking. castaway into the woods and more, give them a lot of opportunities to really get hands-on and experience the most that they can in the scouting program. Yeah, it will be a more structured than the other programmings. They'll kind of be going around more all together, less of the kind of pick and choose model that the other scouts have. In the same spot, you would find our program guide for the summer, Resica Falls, important documents, summer 2022. If you kind of go around under there, you will see a document for 2022 Webelos guide, details all of this out. Again, a lot of that information is going to be the same: health forms, check-in, all that stuff, but kind of just going over all this information yet again. As said down there at the bottom, we're only really offering 1 week of the Webelos program, which is during week 7 of our scout camp. That will be August 7th to 13th. It is $475 per youth and then $150 for adults. Let's see if anyone. 37. I am being informed that that is a typo in the slide. It is actually $375 for youth, not that $475. Apologies on that. That has been updated. So yeah, if no one's got questions, I'll kind of go through, see if anything's about our Webelos program. Oh, someone else is being me to typing that one out, so I will stop. Okay. So I guess general programming stuff, questions, if there's stuff left in here.
Yeah, so the Webelos program is something new, like Andy said, that we're trying to do this summer at Resica. So if you have any Cub packs that you're associated with and they're looking for something to do, please share this information with them. Send them off to resicafalls.org to look at our Webelos week and the afternoon or the Webelos guide for this program, right? There's already some scouts signed up for this, and we're looking to get a few more to participate with us for this summer during our week 7, August 7th to August 13th. Another program that we're looking for some individuals still to sign up for is our Seek program, right? Our Seek program replaces our traditional CIT, counselor and training program, and we're gearing this towards those individuals who want to transition from being a camper to being on camp staff, right? So it is a participant program focused around leadership development, programmatic development, and kind of giving these guys maybe a little bit of a leg up on what it is like to be on camp staff. So signups are still available. 2 sessions of Seek. They are 3-week sessions. So the first session runs from week 1 through 3. The second session runs from weeks 4 through 6. Great time, great experience. And last year, our first year running the program, we had 18 participants. 10 of those individuals are going to be back with us this summer as part of the camp staff for 2022. So it's a great program and really helps them, those interested in the future service on camp staff, to kind of hop on board and get a little bit of a head start with that. Another program coming up is our Troop One program, provisional program, during weeks 5, 6, and 7. For those that are not able to join a troop in camp during their stay, those that might have a interest in doing a second week of camp, this is a program for those scouts. Weeks 5, 6, and 7 running our Troop One program with experienced volunteer leaders that kind of help supervise and to kind of lead this group of scouts into being a functioning troop. They'll do everything just like normal troops. They'll be able to participate in merit badge, participate in camp-wide activities, afternoon adventures. It gives the scouts a real chance to bond and meet new people from other units and maybe even from other councils as well. For those that are just doing this as their first week at camp, that is $475. If this is a scout's second week of camp, then the fee is $375 to participate in our Troop One program. Little note on this, if there are any female leaders, female adult leaders who are interested in maybe helping us out one of these weeks, either week 5, week 6, or week 7, as leadership with the program, with the Troop One program as volunteers, please reach out to me. We're looking for a few more female adult leaders to kind of help support this program. So you can reach out to me, steve.mock@resicafalls.org, if you're interested in helping us out. That would be very much appreciated. All right. You've got questions. We've got answers. So we will kind of continue to work through questions in the Q&A feature. And capacities for the afternoon ventures. Jacob can kind of probably answer this question a little better. Is there a way that we can share these capacities out for people? Or do not really that many programs have capacities, and it's more of a minor occurrence rather than a major issue?
Right. Yeah. Not many of them have big capacities. If you know that you have a unit that is very large, that's when you would probably want to reach out. Or if you have a patrol that's just a massive patrol, again, then you would want to reach out. But most of them would not necessarily have capacities. Like I said, I've run troop shoots for Resica Rangers before when we had 60 some odd scouts that were able to get through in groups of 8. And we were able to get everybody through. So it's something that I've done myself. And if your unit is larger and say, we don't necessarily want to just have everybody shoot the 5 shots and be done, that's when it might be a better idea to split into a smaller group or a smaller subsection. But we can accommodate most units with even a larger unit with most everything that we have.
All right, great. Thanks, Jacob. About our campsites do not have any lean-tos. They're just simple wall tent on platforms with canvas cots inside of them. Just so you have an idea of what a campsite might look like. Okay, any other questions coming in? Troops have not received notification about their campsite assignment yet. Right now, Chippewa is listed as everybody's campsite for every week of camp. That will not be the case. That's just kind of the filler that Black Pug put in there. Like Jerry said at the beginning of the meeting, on or around August 10th, we're going to get check-in times and campsite assignments out to units. And then that's when you'll have the accurate information of what your campsite might be. Campsite assignments, right? While some preference might be something that could be taken into account, it's really based around the numbers. So we stopped asking for campsite preferences on the pre-camp survey this year, because really the site that you might like might not be the site that's going to work best for your unit during your stay in camp. So it's really going to be about the size of the unit, where campsites fit in and everything. It's a big process that takes a whole lot of effort and thinking power to make sure that things are accommodated as best as possible. And it's really numbers driven. The anaphylaxis form, should it be signed by the parent or doctor or both? Whatever the form says. I don't have the form right in front of me, and I can't kind of close out to look at it, but whatever the form says for that anaphylaxis form, make sure you get that signed and filled out in the appropriate manner. I believe it's just a parent signature, but don't quote me on that.
I got it pulled up. It does require a doctor's signature, and then if the person the form is being filled out for is under the age of 18, it will require a parent's signature.
Okay, there you go. So Andy answered that question. Thank you very much, Andy. So it does need that doctor's signature, okay? Submit dietary restrictions. There is a form on resicafalls.org under summer camp important documents, as well as on summer camp food. And that will have a link there so you can fill out the dietary restrictions form, which goes to the food service Aramark. Vehicle parking, each unit gets one spot at the trading post parking lot at the top of the hill. All other unit vehicles go down to the lower parking lot called the Fisherman's Parking Lot from there. No, the anaphylaxis form isn't needed by all, just those that it will apply to. Troops arriving early via bus. Talk with me offline, because as far as I know, there's only one unit arriving a day early, and I don't know, Robert, if you are that unit or not. So let's kind of touch base via email after this meeting. Medical storage, Andy's answering that question, typing that out. But yes, we have medical storage in the campsite. Troop trailers are allowed in the campsite. We ask that the vehicle that is pulling the trailer not remain attached to the trailer and move into one of our parking areas. All right, so the vehicle is not inside the campsite. Lots of water in the campsite. Each latrine has a spigot. There's a couple of water bottle refill stations throughout the camp, located outside the dining hall, outside the STEM center, outside the pool area, and then ice for dining hall use is inside the dining hall. During meal times, there's ice machines to fill up pitchers and things like that. If the unit wants ice, you can purchase ice at the camp office. We have bags of ice for sale via the camp office. Right, again, you can park your troop trailer in the campsite. And then the vehicle that pulls the trailer should be out of the campsite. If you are electing to keep your medications in the campsite and store them there, that is also the unit making the decision that the unit will administer the medications. If you want the medications administered by the health lodge staff, they should be stored in the dining hall. Coffee is available in the dining hall pretty much all day long. Dining hall is also the place where we have the largest bandwidth of Wi-Fi for leaders. Scoutmaster with a capital S is the Wi-Fi password, and that is the dining hall. Family style for breakfast and lunch, or breakfast and dinner rather, and then lunch will be cafeteria style for our meals this year. Right. Andy's answering the last question about the camp terrain. There's some
At the
questions.
dining hall, Steve, you can still eat outside if you want. We're going to have tents outside as well.
Right. Right, and then Jerry will work on campsite or dining hall, dining locations as well. as well. Campfires are allowed in the campsites unless any sort of changes occur via the state, if they put out a fire watch or something like that. We do have a patrol award and a troop award. Requirements for those will be given and provided when you arrive in camp. Max weight for cots, I'd probably say that safe weight would be around 300 pounds is the maximum weight for cot. Anything above that might get a little dicey, and you should plan accordingly. There's a question in here about lake activities, Jacob, afternoon adventures. Do they need to be a swimmer to do any of all the lake stuff?
I did reply to that in the chat to everybody and quoted the question. I'll read it out loud here. It says, regarding afternoon program, are activities at the lake limited to swimmers only, i.e. dragon boat racing? I said dragon boats are for swimmers, but other swimming levels can fish or be taken out in a rowboat. So there is some, such as the kayaks or canoes, that is swimmers only, but there are some boats that can be not necessarily taken out by a beginner, but can be somebody can take them out as opposed to them going out on their own. So there are opportunities for other swimming groups at the lake as well. There was another question that said, under for the unit on page 20 of the program guide mentions unit awards. You had answered that, Steve. Those will be given at the packet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
couple other questions here about food. We'll have 2 seatings again in the dining hall, our green meal and our gold meal. And we're putting the final touches on both the regular camper menu as well as the vegetarian menu. Hope to be able to have those posted on the website very, very soon. And looking to hopefully have a very small amount of menu changes this year. But any kind of changes to the menu is going to be based upon supply availability. And that's something that we can't really plan for in advance. Supply chain issues continue to be prevalent in the food industry. And the dining hall staff, the Aramark food staff aren't going to know necessarily if something's unavailable until they go and order it. So menu changes, while we hope to kind of keep those to a minimum, are still something that might be a little bit unavoidable based just solely upon supply chain stuff. All right. Andy is now typing our most recent question here, an answer there, and I think we'll start winding it down here. So at this point, we're really excited that you're able to join us, not only for this webinar, but also for a week of camp this summer. It's going to be a great time, great experience. Really looking forward to everything that has kind of been laid out and that we're planning to do with you during your stay in camp. Like I said in the beginning, a recording of the session will be available, youtube.com/Resica Falls. Might take us a couple days to get it posted because of the rendering and the uploading into YouTube, but it will be up by the end of the week. And if you have any other questions, right, please feel free to send us an email. All of our emails are on the Resica Falls website, resicafalls.org, under Meet the Team, or you can just email hello@resicafalls.org, and that kind of goes to a group that will be able to answers all the questions that might come in. So with that, I think we're going to say good night, and we'll see you all in camp. Take care.